everybody. I'm going to do a prong collar intro video. Today, I know we already have one on how to fit the prong collar, the positioning of it, and then just conditioning a little pressure release with food. I'm going to show you an alternate way that I kind of do it, where there's still that pressure release introduction. So this dog has never had a prong collar on, and his leash skills are a little bit flaily. So what I'm going to do is I'm not gonna have any food because I just wanna start introducing him to the pressure and how to turn the pressure off. You can definitely use food if you'd like, but for him, I'm not going to because I really wanna make this a little bit more complicated for him just because he's older, he's big, and he's a little bit pushy. So I'm gonna kind of leverage that pressure release system with him as much as I can right now. So I have the prong collar on, I have a leash on him. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start walking forward, and then I'm going to start walking backwards and teaching him that when he feels that pressure, he needs to come back to the handler. So you're going to be able to see it's very subtle. When he feels that leash pressure, I'm tensing up a little bit on the leash as much as his head waves. And as soon as he comes back to me, the tension goes off. So you can see I'm over exaggerating my tension off as well. So I'm just teaching him to turn off that leash pressure, which after just that one time at the end, he's already kind of following me a little bit more. So now I'm gonna ask him to stay on one side instead of going on the right. I'm gonna force him to kind of stay on the left and work with me a little bit. So I'm gonna do a turn. I'm adding pressure as much as his head weighs, just to bring him back to the side that I want him on. So I'm gonna do a turn again. Again, he's trying to go on the side he wants. I'm just holding pressure as much as his head weighs. He is a little bit whiny in general and pushy on where he wants to go. So I'm trying to stop him from going the other way around and to stay on this side of me. So again, only holding pressure as much as his head weighs. If he puts the brakes on, again, holding pressure. The moment he comes towards me, I'm gonna give the leash back to him and release that pressure. If he's trying to go around again, so I'm blocking him from going on the side he wants to go on. Blocking, very nice. So that normally doesn't happen, by the way. I'm kind of troubleshooting a little bit. Usually dogs are used to walking on the left, but this guy's a country guy, so he's not really used to being on leash very much at all. So he's unsure of what side to work on. Most dogs aren't. So he's putting the brakes on. I'm just gently holding pressure, waiting for him to give in to that pressure. The moment he gives in, the leash goes loose again. So I'm not rushing it, holding light pressure. So I could have food on me right now, but I want him to make the decision to respect a little bit of leash pressure before I bring food into the mix. So again, pressure's on. The moment he turns into me, the pressure is gonna come off. He's looking at his reflection. So pressure's on. Moment the pressure, he comes into that pressure, he gets that leash back. Pressure comes on, pressure comes off. Back this way. So even for the sniffing stuff, I'm going to use that as an opportunity to add pressure and change my direction. So turn again this way. So when I say minimal pressure, guys, I'm literally holding this leash as loosely as possible. And when I'm giving leash pressure, it's very light because right now we're teaching him how to turn the pressure off. We're not in any corrective phases. So you can see now he's a little bit more in tune with me and where I'm going. I'm not getting that flip-flopping around on the different side that he wants to go on. He's learning to walk in the positioning that I'm looking for. So also pay attention that I'm in a low distraction environment. I'm able to control what's going on around. So now that I have him in a better headspace that I'm looking for, now I could good feed, good feed, good feed. Because now I have the behavior that I wanted, and that's exactly how I wanted to start with this particular dog. So again, just light leash pressure. I'm trying to keep the leash. Notice the leash is very loose, right guys? Like there's no tension on this leash. When the dog is with me, the leash is very loose. So he's learning to follow my body cues and pay attention to the leash a lot more. So opportunity for a little bit of tension to get him back. Opportunity for tension. Tension, I'm holding it with 2 fingers right now. So he put more pressure on himself moving away from me than I did on the leash there. And with the softer breeds, you might get a little bit of vocalization when they first feel that tension. Not because you're hurting them, because they're a little bit whiny and unsure. And when they're unsure, they vocalize, right? Because trust me, the amount of pressure that I've been putting on him is very, very minimal. It's just when you're pairing a new sensation that makes the dog feel compromised, when they're a little bit unsure, you might get that little bit of a whine. And his whine was more of a pestery whine because I took away all of his power. So this is the conditioning part, doing pressure release. So just back and forth. I'm always turning away from him, not turning into him. And anytime I have an opportunity to add that light pressure, I am. So when we're talking light pressure, it's just as much as the head weighs, and notice that I wait for him to give in. So I'd be holding, holding, holding. The moment he gives in, the tension instantly comes off. That is your pressure on, pressure off, okay? So the release of tension is actually what teaches the dog the behavior, not the tension itself. It's the release of tension that teaches. Tension on, tension on. So you can see, as soon as he comes towards me, that leash goes loose again. So this is how I introduce a prong in motion to a brand new dog.